boys, Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. 2,500 point battle. This one's a bit of a treat though, because it's Warriors of Chaos, Lord Tremendous, that's me, versus the Lord of the Leaves of the Wood Elves. Yeah, of every army I could face, Wood Elves would have been at the very bottom of that list as likely to see. It was the last game I actually played yesterday, but I'm doing the battle report first because I'm excited. It was cool to see an army that I haven't seen in literally years. But yeah, the owner of the store had an army. He wanted to try it out, and he sat down and made a list like moments before the game started. So if it's not optimal, there's a reason for it. But yeah, sit back, relax, and get ready to have a little walk down memory lane as we see me fight the Wood Elves. But yeah, here's my list. It's my Shiloh 2014 army list, so if you've seen my last 10 or so battle reports, you've seen this list. I have a Demon Prince, Lord Tremendous. He's my general. He's a Marquezine. He's level 3 wizard, Chaos Armor, Charm Shield, Dragon Bane Gem, Other Trickster, Shard, Soul Feeder, Scaled Skin, Flaming Breath, and Laura Metal. My hero choices are my Exalted Hero, Catalyst, the Keeper of the Colors. He's got the Marquezine. She's my BSB. He's got a Halberd, Chaos Steed, Helm of Many Eyes, and Dawnstone. My other Exalted Hero is Berserk. He's got the Mark of Corn, he's got an extra hand weapon, Luckstone, Dragon Helm, and a Crown of Command. Last but not least is my Chaos Sorcerer, Saval, the Mercenary of Chaos. He's got the Marquezine, she's a level 2 wizard, he's on a demonic mount, Packhog. He's got the Warrior Bane, the Enchanted Shield, Skull of Catan, Talisman of Protection, and uses the Lore of Tzeentch. My core choices are 5 Chaos Warhounds with Scaled Skin, 23 Chaos Warriors, Blood Tide with the Mark of Corn, full command halberds, and Banner of Fury. I also have my Chariot, the Vessel of Change, who is Mark Tzeentch. My special choices consist of 5 Chaos Knights, the Teeth of Tzeentch, with the Mark of Tzeentch and Source Weapons, Banner, Musician, Standard of Discipline. My rare choices are my Skull Crushers, 3 of them, with, I call them Corn's Wrath, Banner Musician, Lances, and the Banner of Swiftness. Last but not least, of course, is the Mutalith Vortex. Gotta love the beast. My opponent's list is as follows. Like I said, he wrote it down. I took a picture of it and filled in the blanks where I couldn't read his handwriting. But he had a Wood Elf Highborn on a Great Stag with a spear. It was the Wild Rider Kinderid, whatever. And they had the Stone of the Crystal Mirror, which is the 3-up ward save until you fail one. Then he also had a Treeman Ancient with the Annoyance of Netlings, and I had forgotten how annoying the Annoyance of Netlings was. His hero choices were a Wood Elf Noble as his BSB with the Armor of Destiny, 1 Spell Singer with a Spell Scroll, and a level 2. I think that he used the Wood Elf lore, Tree Singing, and one other, I don't remember what it was. Another Spell Singer, level 1 Wizard with the Deepwood Orb or Sphere, whatever it is. Also with what is it called? The Tree Singing spell, I believe. And a 3rd Spell Singer on an Elven Steed, level 2 Wizard, with Kellingor's Staff, which improves Tree Singing. So yeah, a lot of singing to the trees. His core choices were 20 Glaive Guard with full command, 10 Glaive Guard Scouts with full command and a Banner of Eternal Flame, 2 units of 12 Dryads, and then his special choices were 4 Treekin, and his rare choice was a Treeman. Here's deployment. As you can see, I really couldn't. The last time I played Wood Elves, it was the very middle, I'll say, end of the beginning of the middle of 7th edition. That's how long it's been since I've seen Wood Elves. So when I lined up, I just lined up. I really had no idea where to go. I knew he had scouts, so I put a guy on each side, but I had no clue what I was going to do against them. But I was excited as hell just to play against Wood Elves. First of all, even, relatively unpainted and stuff, it's a beautiful army. Second of all, it's elves, and I love killing elves. So I did just that. I put the fast-moving stuff on the side, Saval on one end, Crushers on the other, and everything beefy in the middle. And I figured, you know what, I'm not going to be able to chase these guys too much, so I'm just going to make them come to me. Here's my opponent's right flank. In the forest there are his Glaive Guard scouts, and up top of the picture there is 12 Dryads with the Spell Singer on an Elven Steed. Here's his center. Right there on our left is the big old unit of Glaive Guard. He's got his 2 other Spell Singers in that unit and his BSB, which I thought was a bit of an eggs in all one in one basket, but in all fairness, he had nowhere else to put them. And this was his first attempt with this list, so there will be mistakes made. If you have any suggestions on how to make Wood Elves work in this edition, or what helps them to be viable, that would be great. I'm sure my opponent would love to hear it because he wants to make this his usual list, I think. He's the one that plays the big Horde brick of Trolls, Horde brick of, well, not Horde brick, but Death Star brick of Skull Crushers, Warriors of Chaos list with the Nurgle Demon Prince. Well, he kind of wants to try to make Wood Elves work, so anything you can do to help him out would be appreciated. Right there in the middle there is his Tree Man. Right next to them are the 4 Tree Kin, and right next to them is the Tree Man Ancient. And his left flank consisted of 12 Dryads with his Highborn on the Great Stag or whatever. Here's my right flank, which consists of Saval, and he was just way over there to stop his scouts from getting too close. Here's my center, Knights with my BSB, my Chariot, my Demon Prince, my big old brick of Warriors with Berserk, and my dogs. And the left flank, left to right, there's the Crushers, and there's the Beast. Gotta love the Beast. So, here's top of 1 after movement, and the Wood Elves get to go first. And not a surprise, they got the +1, and, well, they're elves. What can you do? Ooh, excuse me. And really, I don't come up a whole hell of a lot. The Glaive Guards stay in the forest and kind of move up to get better shots at my Mutolith, which makes sense. I had no idea that he had the Banner of Eternal Flame, but it made sense that he would shoot at the Mutolith. I understood, right? His little elf on an Elven Steed breaks from his unit and runs into the forest to, I guess, take pot shots at my Skull Crushers. And his left flank moves up to meet me in glorious combat. In the magic phase, he sings to the trees and moves them over to the right a little bit there. And the other set of forests, he tree sings up over to, like, towards the center of the map. I guess to try to make it so that if my knights did anything, they'd have to go through the forest. During the shooting phase, he takes a couple of pot shots at my dogs. I think he was trying to vape the unit in order to make it disappear, but that didn't work for him. He killed 2, and they made their leadership on their own leadership, even though the Demon Prince was right next to him. So, we go to bottom of 1 after movement, and here it is. My Mutolith charged the Glaive Guard scouts, and they tried to stand, but they failed their terror check and fled. They fled to the point where it was literally like 14 to 16 inches away from my Skull Crushers. So I charged the Skull Crushers to continue their fleeing, and that's where they ended up. Obviously, the Beast and the Skull Crushers failed their charge. But on a side note, the Skull Crushers did roll boxcars in order to get them. So if they had not fleed out of my charge range, I would have had them, which is just kind of cool to know. Meanwhile, the dogs moved up just to get up there, and if they tried to shoot at my warriors, maybe, you know, some of them would have to worry about shooting through a unit or whatever. I didn't really have anything to redirect with the dogs, so they just came up to give them something to shoot at. Demon Prince ran up because that huge thing of Glaive Guard with 2-3 characters in it was too big of a target to pass up. Meanwhile, the Knights pretty much stayed right where they were with the Chariot waiting, because if the Treemen are going to come into that bottleneck, I will have no problem with charging them and just trying to decimate them. And then Saval ran up to the flank of the Glaive Guard with his Highborn in there because I was going to try to use my magic and introduce them to 8th edition Tzeentch magic and see how they like that. Here's the better picture of the Beast and the Skull Crushers running off the scouts. During the magic phase, I hit his, what's it called, Spell Singer in the forest with the Mutolith spell, and my opponent lets it go, and I end up rolling a 3. He ends up taking 4 toughness checks, failing 1, so he only takes 1 wound, which is a bit of a shock, but I end up raising, here you go, there's a better picture of that, I end up raising his ballistic skill by 1 and lowering his strength by 1, so, you know, now she's really, really good at shooting, but not really good at picking up the reins to her horse, so... I guess it was a bit of a trade-off. I guess sissy elves are the norm, so she's not like if she survives this battle, anyone's going to make fun of her. And then over here, Saval shows the Beast how it's done and gets Infernal Gateway off on the Dryads, killing 7 of them. They're immune to psychology, so it doesn't matter, but 7 Dryads go into compost mode, and that's outstanding. So here's top of 2 after movement. And once again, not a whole lot. Again, it's his first time in years, possibly ever, playing the Wood Elf army, and it hasn't seen a new book since, I don't know, first edition. So this is what we're looking at right here. His Treeman Ancient runs into the trees, daring my knights to charge into him, which I really had no intention of doing. His Treekin were close enough. His Dryads run to back him up, I guess, and Highborn just kind of hangs back and angles to face the Vol in case I forget to move him or something. I don't really know. The Treekin and the Tree Man pretty much just kind of stay still. And everything else just, he does rally his scouts, but everything else just kind of holds back and waits to see what I'm going to do. With the exception of the Spellsinger that fired off, or they got all mutated by the Beast, she runs over to try to exact some revenge. Here's a better picture of the rallying scouts. Yeah, I don't think they rallied. I think they just got tired of running. That was a hell of a jog. During his magic phase, he gets tree singing off on this forest and shifts everybody over. I think he was trying to get my knight or get out of my knight's charge range, which is kind of a cool little aspect that they can do with tree singing. You know, you jump into the forest and then move around. Kind of neat. During the shooting phase, the Glaive Guard opened fire and put 2 wounds on my Demon Prince, and that's after going through his Charm Shield, so, oh god. So, here's bottom of 2 after movement, and since my Demon Prince is half dead, he charges the Glaive Guard because he needs a soul feed. The dogs run up to, in case his Glaive Guard scouts want to shoot at anything, they have to deal with him. My warriors try to swift reform to look over at the Treeman Ancient and the what's it called, Dryads, because they've got nothing else to really do on the left flank. My Knights and my Chariot both slam into the Treekin, and my Skullcrusher slam into the Dryads. Meanwhile, Saval runs over to continue to torment his Highborn. There's a picture of my Knights and my Chariot slamming into the Treekin, and a better picture of my Demon Prince slamming into the Glaive Guard. And I was thrilled with this charge because now his casters can't get away, his BSB can't get away, and I'm going to be able to eat those Glaive Guard up because barring this BSB having some anti-personnel like Claymore or something like that, I was pretty sure my Demon Prince had this unit. And there's a better picture of the Skullcrushers getting ready to turn the Dryads into kindling. During my magic phase, my beast shifted around and looked at his Spellsinger that he had mutilated the first time. Hits him with the stupidity side, but she fails one of her toughness tests. I don't remember how many she had to take, but she fails one of her toughness tests. Only had 2 wounds and dies a horrible death. And you know what? As much as I love Wood Elves, I enjoy a dead Wood Elf a lot more. So totally fine with her dying. As cool as she might be, I'm glad she's dead. The Skullcrushers kill all but 4 of the Dryads. The Dryads do absolutely nothing to my Skullcrushers because my Skullcrushers are beast. And they get run down like the wheat they wish they were. I know it's plowed like wheat, but let's face it, they got ran down like wheat because wheat doesn't really flee. It makes sense. It does. So, yep, that's where the Skullcrushers end up after destroying the Dryads. Over here, not as good as I had expected. He was making a lot of his ward saves. We looked it up, and how we decided to do it with the Wood Elves is since anybody who lets Wood Elves into a GT, most TOs and stuff like that, they give the Wood Elves a choice. Either you bring your own forest to the game, or you can take your 5-up ward save, even against magical weapons. And he decided, and you know, that I'm perfectly fine with that, it was legit. So he decided, damn my forest, I want a 5-up ward save against everything. And he was making those ward saves kinda like he sold his soul to the devil. I'm not saying that he did, but he did. So he made a ton of ward saves. So what ends up happening is I do about 5 wounds to him, he does 2 wounds to me, and they break, but they get away. I pursue with both, hoping to get a hold of them. They do still get away because I rolled poorly. I think I rolled like a 10 and he rolled an 11. I can't remember exactly, but obviously he got away. But my Chariot ends up slamming into his Treeman, and my Knights and my BSB end up pretty much completely out of the way. So Yeah, there's a better picture of my chariot slamming into treatment. I'm really not happy about this. I know he's got a high toughness. I know he's got a, hard war armor save and everything, so I'm really not feeling too good about this charge. But it is what it is. What other options did I have, right? Over here in combat, he gives me one of his spell singers and a challenge because I was challenging him hoping to get his BSB. I was hoping he was going to decline it, and then I was going to put his BSB in the back, and then even though they're going to be stubborn, if he rolls high, they're gone. But no, he fed me a spell singer, and Tremendous happily crunched her skull and ended up healing a wound from it. Obviously, they make their break check. So we go to top of 3 after movement, and as you can see, his Ancient Treeman comes running over to the rear of my Knights to try to get a hold of them. His Dryads run over to deal with Saval, and his Highborn also look at the Knights. Meanwhile, the Scouts turn to deal with the dogs, and that's about it. Oh yeah, and his Treeman rally, or Treekin. During his magic phase, he starts moving the forest around. This one moves, I think, north a little bit, northwest. I don't really know what his plan was with it. And over here, same thing. The trees come in like a wrecking ball. Sorry, I'm fully clothed and have self-respect, so I'm not very good at singing. Yeah. So we go into his shooting phase, and his Glaive Guard get a little bit of revenge and end up dusting the last 3 dogs right off the table, which is kind of rude. And then I think his treemen or something like that have some weird shooting attack, and they fire it off at my warriors and kill 2 of them. Something like that happens. They've got that weird like artillery die worth of shots, strangle root or something like that. It's a little silly. I forgot all about it, but yeah, he used it to great effect. During the combat, my chariot's able to slip 1 wound past his treeman, and I take 1 as well. I win this combat by 1, but he's stubborn and doesn't go anywhere. In this combat over here, he's got a unit champion in there who, after I ask him if he's going to issue a challenge, he says, heck no, I ain't going to make no challenge. And I was like, fine, I will. And the unit champion says goodbye to his wife, goodbye to his kids, and then walks into the gullet of Lord Tremendous. And that is that. I win this combat, and yet again, they're steadfast, and they make their check no problem. So we go to bottom of 3, and as you can see, my warriors, on a whim, I was curious. Oh, I got to work on that. I was curious to see what would happen if my warriors got into a combat with his Ancient Treemen, because I couldn't remember how tough they were. So I charge. I needed like a 10 to hit him. I roll boxcars, so I make my charge. He stands and shoots and strangle roots like another 2 guys off of my warriors, but oh well. And I make the charge, and so yeah, I'm in his flank. I've got a bunch of ranks. I didn't realize that he was stubborn. I don't know why I didn't realize he was stubborn, because the damn tree man was, but I didn't realize he was stubborn. So the tree man, yeah. Anyway, the knights charge into the treekin because it was so much fun the first time. Figured we'd try it again. Saval moves back a little bit to keep on flinging his spells at the highborn. And the Skullcrusher's turn to go and try to either get into the combat with the scouts, the Glaive Guard scouts, or in with the actual Glaive Guard themselves, depending on what target presented itself. So yeah, here's a better picture of the warriors making it into the Ancient Treeman. It was a really good charge. Usually they fail charges, so I was thrilled that they actually made one. And here are the knights slamming into the Treekin because they need to die. During the magic phase, the beast gives the Glade Guard scouts a little taste 8th edition Warriors of Chaos magic and nails them with the number 6 spell. They all end up taking toughness checks, and all but 4 fail, and is back. Yeah, I was thrilled. I know I should be taking it easier on him because he's playing Wood Elves, and it's a list that he made 10 minutes before we played and all this good stuff, but I just can't hold back when it comes to Elves. I have to kill him. I have to. Over here, I issue a challenge, and he says no. And his BSB goes to the back, and I face pound 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10 of these guys or whatever, and it's insane. but they're still steadfast and they make their break check. But with all the wounds I do, I am able to Soul Feeder the last wound off the Demon Prince. So now he's full strength again, and that's awesome! Over here in combat, I lose 2 more knights. I don't even know what's wrong with me. I lose 2 more knights. I only do like 1 wound to the treeman because they were carrying 2 from before. So with charge, 2 banners, and a wound, 2 wounds, I win combat, but they don't go anywhere. So yeah, the treekin are tough, man. Over here in combat, the unit champion issues a challenge, and he's going to be the guy that I send in there just to see how tough this guy is. That's when I'm informed that he has annoyance on netlings, and I go, oh yeah, I should have seen that. And needless to say, I don't roll any 6s to hit. My unit champion, on the other hand, gets face screwed by the ancient treeman, and after his skull explodes all over the warriors, they make their stubborn 8 break check. And that's something at least, right? Over here in combat, my chariot also has a little bit of problem with his treeman and ends up taking 2 more wounds. I do nothing to the ancient treeman. I lose this combat, but I'm able to stay. So things, treemen, they deserve a lot more respect than witch elves. So here's top before after movement, and as you can see, there's been relatively none. His scouts honorably give themselves up to the Skull Crushers, trying to save his unit of Glaive Guard. And his Highborn, that's what she's called, charges into the rear of my knights, going for the coup de grace. It was a ballsy move, I got to admit. I wasn't really sure what she had when he charged her into the rear like that, but I think he was just going for combat res. There's a better picture of the Highborn having delusions of grandeur by charging my knights in the rear. During his magic phase, he gets thrown a vines off on his spell singer. I let it go because I'm just going to try to stop everything else. Which I do. So we go straight into combat, and as you can see, my chariot gets exploded. It's a shame. It's a shame, but the fact that the chariot held up for as long as it did against this treeman was impressive. I was happy with its performance. In this combat, my exalted hero had no choice but to issue a challenge, which the treeman had no choice but to accept. I throw my 6 attacks, and I don't roll 1/6. Needless to say, the treeman is able to face pound me into the ground, just like he did with the unit champion. And we're stubborn, and we make our break check, but just barely. Over here, my BSB has to issue a challenge. His Highborn has to accept. And I put 2 wounds on her. She actually does not do too well. So she does survive. She does nothing to my BSB. My knight doesn't do anything to the treeman, but they don't do anything else to him either. So with his charge rear to my 2 banners and 2 wounds, I end up winning by 1. No, charge, rear, and 1, 2. Yeah, charge and a rear to 2 banners and a wound. I win by 1, but everything makes a break check. Okay, good. I figured it out. And then over here, I don't even bother issuing a challenge. He doesn't issue a challenge, and I mutilate a ton of the Glaive Guard. They do end up staying 1 more round, and that's perfectly fine, because I'm just having fun killing Wood Elves now. So we go to bottom of 4 after movement, and the Beast runs over to try to get into this fight with the treeman. Saval kind of shifts a little bit so he can get different angles at stuff. And the Skull Crusher summon to the Glaive Guard scouts because, hey, if you're going to give me your life, I'm going to try to take it. Meanwhile, shimmies his way into the flank of those warriors. Or, I'm sorry, not warriors, Glaive Guard. Here's a better picture of the Skull Crushers about to literally steamroll these elves. And there's a picture of showing the Wood Elves what happens when they convert over the Chaos. Or Hedonism, whichever. Nothing happens in the magic phase, and real men don't shoot, so we go into combat, and my Skull Crushers, I know, shock and surprise, they bulldoze the 4 scouts, and it's glorious. We overrun a little overzealously, though, and my Skull Crushers do end up in the forest. I pass my dangerous terrain, but I'm really worried about getting spell sung, or tree sung off the table, because I think it's like D6 strength 5 or 2D6 strength 5 if you're actually in the forest. So that made me nervous. I'm like, uh-oh, I've touched the green stuff. Yeah, if you're a faint of heart or have a irritable stomach type of deal, you may want to turn your eyes, because the brutality of which my Demon Prince and my Spawn just eviscerate everything but the BSB in this unit is probably illegal in 6 states. So yeah, I think there's a glaive guard, 1 or 2 glaive guard left, because he gives his spell singer to me in a challenge because she was dead anyway. And my Demon Prince is easily able to destroy the spell singer. My spawn kills 2 or 3 of the glaive guard. And I think it's literally the BSB and 1 or 2 glaive guard left. They break, flee, and my spawn runs them down because my Demon Prince opts to restrain from pursuing. So chases down the rest of his meal, and that's awesome. Meanwhile, in this combat, my BSB is able to finish off the Elf Lord with Delusions of Grandeur and gets +1 toughness for his trouble, which is outstanding. My Knight is able to put 2 wounds onto the Treekin, and he makes both of his saves, which is frustrating as hell. I win this combat, but they stay. It's like, oh man, Treekin or something else. I really do mean it. The Treekin really earned a lot of respect in this game. Speaking of respect, though, the Treeman Ancient just kind of jumps up and down on my warriors. I lose combat, but I'm stubborn 8. I immediately roll a 9, and then I roll a 5 to flee. He catches us, no problem. So the warriors die to my curiosity. Oh well, it'll happen again. So we go to top of 5 after movement, and as you can see, his Ancient Treeman charges into the Beast, who stands and takes it because I refuse to flee with the Beast anymore. His Tree Man runs over to Tree Sing at the Skull Crushers because they're in the forest, and the Dryads try to charge Saval and fail their charge, which is good because I did not see that coming, which was stupid. There's a better picture of the Tree Man Ancient slamming into the Beast. And really, I just love the visual with this picture. The idea of the big old Tree Man Ancient slamming into the anti-nature that is the Mutalith Vortex. Is just too good to pass up, you know? There's a better picture of the Dryads failing to charge into Zaval, which is good because I really don't know how he's done with that combat. So yeah, we go into combat over here, and both of us make all of our saves. We do a boatload of wounds to each other. I think the Beast does like 6 attacks, hits 5 times, wounds 4, and the Treeman between armor and ward is able to make all of them. And he does a handful of wounds to my Beast, and I'm able to regen all of them. So really, he wins by 1 for charging, but I'm able to roll my 7 no problem. And then over here, the Knights and my BSB, or the Knight and my BSB, finally finish off the Treekin. I don't remember how many wounds, if any, I did to him. I don't think any, really. But I'm able to break them in combat and run them down. So the Knights and the Knight and the BSB have finally won that combat, and all is good in the world. So here's bottom of 5 after movement. And Saval gets the hell away from the Dryads. He runs over because me and the Demon Prince are going to try to eviscerate this Treeman before he can do anything else to any of my stuff. The Knights turn to deal with the Dryads, which is funny because, well, after... you know, I must not have run down the Treekin. I must have just beat him in combat and they ran off the table or something, because I turned to face the Dryads, and in this round I'm stupid because I fail my leadership check with the Helm of Many Eyes. Meanwhile, the Skull Crushers slam into the flank of the Ancient Treeman to try to help out the Mutalith, and the Spawn runs over to try to get a hold of some Dryads. There's a better picture of my Skull Crushers slamming into the flank of the Ancient Treeman. There's a better picture of my BSB and my Knight being stupid, thanks to the Helm of Many Eyes, which I still, you know what, that's fine. I can deal with that. During my magic phase, I try to cast the Big Searing Doom on the Ancient Treeman. I roll a 25. My opponent throws a bunch of dice at trying to stop that from happening and rolls a 24, which is really, really good considering he doesn't have any casters left. So I was like, woo! I get the spell off. I do 10 wounds, or I did 10 hits, 7 wounds, and I'm able to get him through, and he dies. He doesn't make enough ward saves. So the Treeman dies a horrible, horrible death, and to hell with him, I'm glad he's gone. During the combat over here, it is bloody. If trees can bleed, I took a pint out of this guy. Quite literally, we do 4 wounds to the Ancient Treeman, and he's got 6. And then we do, he's able to do 4 wounds to my Mutolith because whatever was growing back last round, it didn't grow back this round. It was brutal. I end up winning this combat, but he's stubborn and he stays. So we go to top of 6 after movement, and as you can see, the Dryad slam into the Knight and BSB, and the well, nope, that's really it because everything else is dead. So yeah, there's a better picture of Dryads into my BSB and my Knight. During his magic phase, he dubsteps the forest for whatever reason. And then we go into combat. And the Dryads are actually a lot like the Treekin in making their ward saves. My BSB and my Knight do what they can, but between his saves and his just blind determination to not fail, I guess, I don't really know how else to describe it, he's able to save all... he only loses 2 guys, which is a little frustrating, but it is what it is, you know? So they do end up breaking, and I do end up pursuing, and they get away by about 2 or 3 inches. So that's fine. It's going to be my turn next, and I'm going to run them the F down, which I like doing. Over here, nothing happens. I win by 2 or 3 because I have a flank and a banner, but he's able to armor and ward save everything that I do to him. And I am able to, he puts 2 wounds on the beast, and I get no armor saves from it, so I'm nervous, I'm scared, I'm klemping, and yeah, I actually roll a 5 and a 6. So yeah, how cool is that, huh? I make my saves, and I don't have anything to worry about, which is good because I hate it when the beast dies. I win this combat, like I said, he's stubborn, so he sticks around. So we go to bottom of 6 after movement, and really the only thing that happens is my Knights pass their, or my BSB passes his stupidity check, thank God, and my, what's it called? They charge the Dryads and run them down, and the Demon Prince runs over to try to get Enchanted Blades off on the Skull Crushers so that I can get past this damn thing's armor saves, so that all he's got is a ward, and hopefully I can win, and the game will be over, and people will love and respect and honor me. Right? That's why we play, right? 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 There's a better picture of the eradicated Dryads and where the Knights end up, which they're fine with. I do end up in Irresistible forcing through Enchanted Blades. I only threw 4 dice at the spell. I did not want Irresistible force it through, but the spell goes off on him. Yay! And then I roll a 4. Miscast Sable. Oh God! I don't even. It's only gonna hit the Demon Prince. It really, really sucks that just happened. But thank God, thank Zinch, I end up rolling a 6. So my Demon Prince stays in this reality and takes a wound for his trouble because I don't ward save the Strength 10 wound. So we go into combat because I refuse to try to cast anything else. We go into combat and my Mutolith does end up dying. It sucks. But the Skullcrushers are able to avenge him and kill the Treeman Ancient, which is glory, glory, glory. He dies. The game is over. But yeah. You know what? My Mutolith stood toe-to-toe with the Treeman Ancient and only died after he died. You know what? That's how Superman went down when he fought Doomsday. So rest well, hero. You've deserved this. You've done well, Beast. You've done well. So, yep, after that sad, sad song, here's the end of the game. And as you can see, all the elves have been turned into their baser elements, which is good because the only good elf is a dead elf. And I'm happy that they're gone. Very, very happy. But yeah, it was a fun game to say the least. It was exciting to play the Wood Elves. You know, I haven't seen them literally in years, and I was very, very happy that my buddy is thinking about taking them on as a regular army, you know what I mean? I'd love to do more battle reports with these guys. But, you know what, we'll get to the recap in a minute, because right now it's time for a quick timeout. Tokens, fellas. Tokens, tokens, tokens. Wound counters, augment markers, hex markers, uh, every status, ailment, and effect you can think of, from not being able to move to the lore attributes to the lore hexes and bonuses that they provide. Everything that you can think of that you could need a marker for, that we use dice for. Token Grail makes the tokens. Send her an email, tell her what you need. Any gaming system, from Magic the Gathering to Infinity to Malifaux to 40k to Fantasy, whatever you need tokens for, she will make them, and they come out they're flawless. Look at them. They're the glass beads. They magnify the words in the picture, so they're really easy to see from, the tabletop and everything like that. They're a lot more accurate than dice, and they're dirt cheap, guys. She sells them for less than $10 a kit. Uh, Dirt cheap prices, solid gold quality. Totally worth it. Send her an email, get yourself some tokens. The only request that I make is that if you are overseas, if you're outside of America, before you send her an email, you have to understand that shipping prices are through the roof. So as long as you're okay with paying like $30+ shipping fees, don't send her an email, because it's just going to waste both your times. But if you are in America or you don't mind high shipping fees, then by all means send her an email, get yourself some tokens. Totally worth it. But yep, obviously, in the end, it was a victory for Lord Tremendous. I tabled the Elves. I ended up losing Berserk, the Warhounds, my Warriors, my Chariot, and the Beast, which, he was a trooper, though. He died a hero's death. And the Wood Elves ended up losing everything, which is good, because I like killing elves. But like I said, how cool was it to see Wood Elves on the table? I do understand that they're hard to play. I do understand that they're not a overly competitive list and stuff like that. But I still think with the proper list and the proper individual playing them, that they could be quite competitive. Those Treekin are nothing to shun. His list was made minutes before our game. Then his next list, I think, will be a lot more optimal if he plays them again. I assume he will. But I think it's going to be a lot more optimal and a lot better, so we should have a lot closer game, in my opinion. The Treemen and the Treekin are incredible fighters. You wouldn't think that a tree, of all things, would be good at fighting. They're really, really good at fighting. Do not underestimate them. That being said, killing Wood Elves feels almost as good as killing Dark Elves. It's truly enjoyable watching them just plink off their little movement trays. Oh, I hate elves. But also, it looks really nice. This army is painted to a basic standard at best. The treemen do look a little bit better, but still, I forgot how nice a Wood Elf army looks. It's really quite nice. I'm really hoping that he sticks with this army, just because I enjoy looking at it as I murder it. But it was a great game. This is one that I really enjoyed. I hope you guys are enjoying it too. And then I'm looking forward to the next match. I hope he sticks with them. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this battle report number 86, I believe. And what a great one to make number 86, Not that 86 really has any relevance, but hey, I like it. And it's cool that I'm playing Wood Elves. Well, playing against Wood Elves anyway. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it was a walk down memory lane for some of you guys. And seriously, if you have any suggestions for my Wood Elf opponent, feel free to throw them in the comments section, or whatever you want to do. And I'm sure he would love to hear any kind of help he could get, because, like I said, he threw this list together last second, and I'm sure there's a much better and more optimal way to run these guys. But if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comments section below, and I will get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.